And away we go, people. UFC 300 is finally here. We make it through all the shitty fight nights, the fight pass, the 2 a.m. cards for this. Let's start at the first fight of the night. And it is two washed former champions. One has a chin problem. The other has a volume problem. But at the end of the day, you got to take Figgy. He's a minus 300 favorite, so obviously the line's there already. But inside the distance is even money. What he lacks in volume, he makes up for in power. And he's pretty durable himself, so I don't think we have to worry about Cody getting him out of there. He also has a really nice guillotine where Cody's been shooting takedowns recently. I think he'll be able to negate that, potentially get a submission, but I think inside the distance at even money is almost a lock at this point. He's minus 300. Cody just can't take the punishment at this point in his career. Knocked out, wobbled numerous times. What else is there to say? I think Figgy starts the card off with a bang. Cody comes in, gets a little bit too hyped, and gets clipped and gets put down. When you're getting knocked dead by Kattar of France, Figgy's going to hurt you. Give me Figgy, round 1 KO. Here we go. The man himself, UFC 100, UFC 200, and now returning for the trifecta, UFC 300. Jim Miller, the legend, Jim fucking Miller, as they say, takes on Bobby Green, who, let's be honest, probably should not be fighting at this point, this quickly after he got one of the worst late stoppages you'll ever see, got knocked out. The follow-up damage was brutal, and I think he's returning a little bit too quickly. And we've seen him recently, not just his last fight, get knocked down, knocked out, wobbled, Dober. Like, he's been kind of getting it recently. And he's 37, so Jim Miller's 40, but Bobby Green's 37, has been getting... Really looks like the wheels are coming off. And there was an interview this week that I saw that made me even a little bit more concerned. He definitely sounds like he's been concussed heavily. Let's just leave it at that. So I got to take the dog odds on Jim Miller. He's on a 9-fight finish streak. So his last 9 fights that he's won, he won by finish. I think he gets the job done here. Inside the distance is really good, like plus 270. But even then, I think KO. Bobby Green's chin, I think, is dust at this point. And Jim Miller as a dog is good. Inside the distance is good. And KO might be interesting as well. Moving on. Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez is probably the fight. Maybe this and Jiří fight is the one that I'm back and forth on the most. But I think we've just seen enough from Andrade recently where we kind of know that if it's not going her way, she's going to pack it in. Maybe it's different for UFC 300, but she's coming out talking about how her divorce is very expensive. She needs to fight to make money. Maybe not in the best headspace. Marina has not fought as good of a level of competition as Jessica has, but I think that she's obviously much longer, dangerous. She's a big girl, and Jessica likes to run in. I think if she runs in on Marina, she's going to get tagged up. So I think Jessica has about... I'll give her the first round to land something really damaging or impose some grappling here, or I think Marina runs away with it. I think there's a chance it turns into a complete dogfight, high striking numbers on both sides, but again, relatively low-level WMMA fight. I think both these girls are past their prime. Marina's 36. I don't think people realize that. So give me Marina Rodriguez as a slight dog. And we continued moving. I think 2 of the first 3 fights were betting on dogs. That's interesting. We will not be betting the dog on this fight. Jalin Turner, massive favorite. Kind of just becoming that guy, in my opinion. We saw him come in on short notice against Vicente Luque, kind of tuning him up and then gets caught, put out. His chin is suspect, but his skills are not. Moicano moving up from 145. I don't know. There's a lot of Moicano love online right now. He's a big dog. I get it if you're going dog hunting, but for me, I think Moicano can get him. Does not get the grappling going. His striking's pretty lackluster, and his chin has been tested a fair bit. I think Turner bounces back and finishes him in 1. The problem is it's super chalky. The price for round 1 KO is like plus 140. Inside the distance is like minus 200. KO's minus 160. Like, I don't think you can be betting Turner at those numbers. So maybe you look at Turner decision 7-1 if Moicano just gets beat up. Judges are way scoring damage more than control time here. So I think maybe Turner pieces him up. Moicano gets a takedown, stalls for a bit. Neither guy has great gas. I think Turner definitely is going to be landing the more damaging strikes. We're taking Turner. We'll, for the fun of it, take 7-1 decision. That seems good to me. Diego Lopes, Sodiq Yusuff. I think we're going to go with the dog here. Sodiq is a slight dog, plus 115. And I have bet against Diego Lopes in every single one of his fights so far in the UFC. So it's not going great, if we're being honest. But we're not a quitter. We will be taking Sodiq here. I think he keeps the fight standing. Even if he does, I think he's fine on the ground. He's definitely the better striker. His chin, I think it's going to just turn into maybe Sodiq staying at range, working behind his jab. Diego either needs to fully commit to going in and maybe gets caught, or Sodiq kind of dictates the pace, stays at range, and I could see Sodiq late finish. We don't really know much at the UFC level for Diego's cardio. He looks huge, looks very strong. We've seen him early finish a couple guys. For my money, I'll take the unknown risk on Diego and give me Sodiq money line at plus 115. Maybe a late round 2-3 TKO if it gets crazy. But to be honest, I could see this fight going all 15, and just the way Sodiq fights, him dictating the pace, outlanding at range, and maybe Diego doesn't want to rush in and get caught. Sodiq by decision seems pretty good to me. I'll take the dog odds again, and if Diego Lopes wins, we'll fade him in his next fight. Here we go. Oh, very nice UFC. We're taking Kayla Harrison here. I mean, what is there to say? Holly Holm's 42 years old, has historically struggled with grapplers. I don't know why this would be different. Maybe Kayla has a super rough cut to 135 and can't make weight, or just looks super drained, and she comes out hot round 1. Holly survives and turbo gases, but I don't know if you can trust Holly at 42 years old to recreate what she did against Ronda. That seems unlikely to me. I think the price is probably justified here. Kayla looks like she's in insane shape. She looks like she's on just the fucking kitchen sink of supplements here. Give me Kayla Harrison to cover the price tag. Gets her down. Does she finish in the first? Does she get her down and finish her? You know what? I'll say she does. I'll say she gets Holly down, mounts her. I'll say she gets her down, mounts her, arm triangle. Let's go with that. Round 1 sub for Kayla. Holly struggled with grapplers her whole career. Why would this be any different? Sterling versus Calvin Kattar. Kattar. I think the price and the line movement towards Sterling is justified here. I mean, Kattar's a little bit older, coming off of a knee injury, and he's not a massive finisher. He doesn't have any grappling upside here. Sterling, even if he doesn't get takedowns, I think has a path to victory standing just with pure volume. Kattar, his metrics are a little weird because of the Max Holloway fight. All of his metrics are very skewed. Like, it says he gets hit like 8 times a minute, where that's not quite true if you take out that one fight, but you can't really take that fight out because he got fucking pieced up. So I think Sterling has grappling upside, control time upside, and volume upside. I don't know. This one's, I'm a little bit I think I take Sterling, but I'm not as confident as I am for other favorites on the card. But I mean, you're getting a champion moving up a weight class. It seems like against a guy that's kind of capped out in the division. He's really not shown to be able to beat the top end, and coming off of an injury. You know what you're not doing when you have a knee injury? Wrestling. So I think Sterling comes in. We saw Rob Font also get grapple fucked. They're in the same camp. Calvin's obviously I mean, it's hard to be a worse wrestler than Rob Font, but I think Calvin gets taken down 2-3 times. Sterling capitalizes, holds top control, maybe gets a sub. I mean, it's just you're getting a champion at -160. That seems pretty good against a guy that's sniffed the top 5. I'll take my chances. Let's go Sterling. Now, this is the fight that everyone's... I mean, the line indicates it. -110, -115. The bookies are just saying, you guys figure it out. And for me, I think the way Jiří fights is going to allow Aleksandar to capitalize on it and maybe finish him. People are saying Rakić isn't very active. Volume-wise, obviously he was injured. Blew his, I think, MCL against Jan Blachowicz with that kick. Steps back, blows his knee. Been out for about 1.5 years. Jiří coming off of a KO. He seems to get wobbled a good bit, and he fights with his hands down. And now there's all this shit talk. Rakić said he's not a real samurai. Jiří did not like that. Did not like that at all. Don't call him a fake samurai or he will be upset at a press conference. I think Jiří forces the pace, and him forcing the pace, I think, puts him in danger. So give me Rakić by KO just with Jiří. I mean, the Alex Pereira fight that Jiří just had, he's running face first into Alex, who's backed up against the fence with his hands down. And Rakić isn't the biggest finisher, but if that's what's going to happen, Jiří's chin's a little questionable. I think Alex has enough power to put him down. I think Alex also has takedown upside here. Jiří's really not shown the ability to stop a takedown at any level. I will take Alex. I just said KO, but I could see KO decision. Like I just think Alex has the bigger moments. Jiří's going to land more volume, but I think Jiří landing more volume will lead to Alex getting an opening and finishing the show. Especially with that fake samurai shit. Don't call him a fake samurai. Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage. We have the biggest favorite in UFC history, Bo Nickal against Cody Brundage, and I am a massive Cody Brundage hater. He quit against Jacob Malkoun when I had round 2-3 props. He pulls a guillotine against Rodolfo Vieira. He showed pretty much zero urgency against Cedric Dumas. So we have a guy that's essentially a career burnout UFC middling lower end journeyman versus the most hyped prospect of all time. Why do I still want to put money on Cody Brundage? Because I'm a degenerate gambler, that's why. But mostly it is because Bo Nickal is 5-0, has fought literal nobody, so we don't really know much about him. Can he go into the second round? At least we know Cody can be active in the second and third round. Bo Nickal probably just comes out, takes him down, chokes him out, TKOs him on the ground. Cody, the moment gets too big, gets finished. But do we know if Bo Nickal has a chin? Do we know if he can stop a guillotine that Cody's going to shoot? Bo Nickal is going to shoot a takedown. Cody's going to pull guillotine. Does Bo Nickal defend it? Probably. He's a -2,000 favorite, but for my money, middle of the card, going to have a couple cervezas on the way. I think I'll probably have some beer money on Cody Brundage, maybe Cody Brundage round 1 sub at massive numbers. Do I think they're going to hit? No. But for 50-1 in a fist fight against a guy that's pretty unproven, sure. Bo Nickal, probably round 1 TKO on a Cody Brundage slumping against the fence. That is the official prediction, but for a bet, throw a couple bucks on Cody, see what happens. Here we go. The people's main event, Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. I got to take my guy Arman. He's, in my opinion, the future champion. He fought Islam to maybe his closest fight in the UFC recently when Arman was like 19, took it on short notice. He's an incredible grappler. People keep posting that video of him getting clipped by Joaquin Silva, where he gets hit with the left hook, gets wobbled. Charles Oliveira throws left hooks. Yeah, Charles Oliveira also gets clipped, quits, gets dropped, gets submitted. I think Charles has about 3 minutes to impose his will on Arman, or the pace is going to break Charles and he'll get caught with something. I mean, we've seen Charles get dropped in pretty much every fight that he's been in recently and come back and win. that is not the metric that you look for when betting a fighter. And obviously Arman's minus 230 or some massive number, and people are loving the Charles dog side. I can't blame you. But for me, I think Arman's the future of the division. I think he gets the job done here. I think he finds Charles's chin at some point, and KO is very chalk, but I think Arman could drop and sub. Club and sub is live. Charles finds a way to get himself submitted. I think if you're betting Arman, you got to sweat about 3 minutes. Hope Charles doesn't let anything big, and then Arman's going to go to work. I think he has top control upside here. Charles is a very dangerous grappler. I get it. But I think Arman's going to be able to get takedowns, do what he wants. I mean, he's ground and pound is vicious, and Charles got TKO'd from guard by Paul Felder. He's a different Charles. Is he? Give me Arman. KO. Here we go, people. The BMF belt is on the line. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway, and I just don't know how you don't bet Max Holloway as a dog here. You get one of the pound-for-pound goats against a middle... Let's not be... Against an upper echelon perennial contender in the lightweight division. Max is going up a weight class. We've seen Justin... His cardio is not great, to be honest with you. Like, we've seen him, maybe due to damage, he started to slow down in his previous fights, but in rounds... I think Max is very likely to win rounds 3, 4, and 5. He obviously has the volume edge. The best path to victory for Justin is to land something incredibly damaging early, whether that be a leg kick or to just fucking knock Max out, but that seems to be impossible. You could hit him in the head with a frying pan and seems to come back with no problems. I mean, we've seen him get stunned against Dustin, but Dustin's a better boxer than Justin Gaethje. I just feel like you have to have money on Max here as a dog. Justin keeps a very high guard. Max works the body. Justin probably wins the first round and a half at a high clip and then loses the next 3.5 rounds. I think that's how this fight goes. I think if you're going to want to bet Max, you could take him before the fight or look for a live entry. I think after round 1, midway through round 2 is a great point to get in. If Max is still standing after the 8-minute mark, I think it's his to take. Give me Max Holloway. Decisions most likely, but I think we've seen Justin get wobbled and dropped, and like he's just taken so much damage that I think Max could get him out of there, especially if the pace is crazy and Justin really slows down. Give me rounds 3, 4, 5 TKO for Max at, I think it's 30-1 if you average them out and combine them. So let's go Max Holloway, money line, slight dog, TKO, round 4. That seems good. Weili Zhang versus Xiaonan. I mean, Weili Zhang, like if you get... I mean, she's minus 500 and no hot take here, but if you're getting crucifix TKO'd by Carla Esparza, what more is there to say? I think Zhang gets on top whenever she wants and does whatever she wants. I see a lot of people on Yan. I get it. It's a WMMA title fight and you get a 3-1 dog. If it stays standing, maybe she can win with volume. We've seen Weili get dropped against Rose like a flash head kick TKO. I don't know. It just seems like Weili's that chick. So give me Weili, ground and pound TKO or a 7 takedown decision where she does whatever she wants. Yan also got to Vegas Wednesday from China. That seems like a little bit late in the game to be getting and adjusting to jet lag. I mean, you're coming from fucking China and you arrived 3 days early for a title fight. Seems a little bit late for me. Give me Weili, minus 500. Lock it in. And here we go. The main event of UFC 300. The one everyone thought it was going to be. Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. And I've said all week, give me Jamahal Hill. He's a dog. Literally, he's an underdog, and he's a dog himself. But Alex is almost 40, has low volume on the feet. He hits hard, obviously. So does Jamahal. Alex has no grappling upside, low volume. And the biggest thing for me is he's almost 40 and essentially gets wobbled, stung in every fight that he's in. Jamahal, good chin, has 5-round cardio, he has some grappling upside here. I don't think he needs it, but the biggest thing is I think he's going to be able to get inside and put hands on Pereira. And I think if you get hands on Pereira, you knock him out. I think Jamahal comes out. He has the right mentality. He's not afraid of the moment. He's seemingly locked in every interview that I hear from him. He is just delusional enough to not let the moment get too big for him. Comes out, and I think he does Alex the way he did Johnny Walker. I think Alex is a chin that is very suspect, and I don't know if he's going to be able to withstand the punishment. People are talking about Jamahal coming off of Achilles surgery. Very justified. Alex throws leg kicks. If Alex throws a leg kick and blows his Achilles, I mean, then you're just fucking running bad. But in a fight, I think Alex gets slept here. Give me Jamahal Hill, KO round 1, KO round 2. Walks across the cage, gets in his face, makes it ugly, and just puts Poatan down. Jamahal Hill, and new UFC champion of the world. UFC 300 breakdown done. Check out the TikTok. We transitioned over to YouTube a little bit, but we're going back to the home base for the shorts. Like and subscribe. The first YouTube breakdown, we'll be doing these weekly. Thank you very much. Let's do it. Let's make some fucking money. UFC 300.